Jeremy Thorpe's former lover is to complain to police watchdog after force's blunders saw hitman suspect wrongly declared dead and just 8 people interviewed in 2-year inquiry. Jeremy Thorpe's gay lover will go to Britain's police watchdog after a bungled investigation appeared to let the hitman suspected of trying to murder him off the hook. Norman Scott is set to call for a review after Gwent Police said it has axed its inquiry into the 1979 alleged murder plot despite wrongly concluding suspect Andrew Newton had passed away in 2004. But Mail Online revealed on Friday that Newton was alive and living as Han Redwin in Surrey. Detectives came to his girlfriend's Dorking house on Sunday to find him gone, but Gwent Police still insists the matter remains closed and it will not interview Newton. Last night Mr. Scott, 78, has said he was likely to go to the Independent Office for Police Conduct to complain about how his case has been handled. He told The Telegraph, "I am well aware of what I need to do." The farce over the investigation of the plot to murder Jeremy Thorpe's ex-lover deepened last night when the prime suspect appeared to be off the hook. Police had rushed to the home of Andrew Gino Newton, 71, at the weekend after admitting he was not in fact dead, only to discover that he had vanished. He was at the center of a police inquiry after he was accused of attempting to kill Mr. Scott on Exmouth in a conspiracy orchestrated by the former Liberal leader Jeremy Thorpe in 1975. Newton shot dead Mr. Scott's dog Rinko, but his owner insists he was the intended victim and only survived because the gun jammed. Now it has emerged that he has been told by officers that they have no interest in reinvestigating his role in the scandal and that they are confident there is no basis for a fresh inquiry. Police claimed to have contacted the accomplished pilot, whose whereabouts are unknown, as his girlfriend joked that he could be on the run on the other side of Paris. Fellow aviators said they did not know the location of his Italian-registered motor glider plane, which can travel up to 600 miles on a tank of fuel. Gwent Police said it spoke to Newton, now known as Han Redwin, to confirm his status and whereabouts and that he was unable to provide any additional evidence. The force appeared to be scrambling to shut down an extraordinary farce in which reality and fiction in the form of a BBC TV drama collided. Newton was at the center of a police inquiry after he was accused of attempting to kill Thorpe's ex-lover Norman Scott, 78, in a conspiracy orchestrated by the former Liberal leader in 1975. After Thorpe's death in 2014, West London petty crook Dennis Megan said he dropped out of the role of gunman in the £140,000 plot and that Newton took his place. Newton was later convicted of shooting Mr. Scott's dog Rinka. Mr. Scott said he escaped only when the gun jammed. But officers from Gwent Police concluded Newton was dead and the Crown Prosecution Service ruled that no further action could be taken. Yet at the weekend it was revealed that he is alive and living under a new identity in Surrey as the final episode of A Very English Scandal, starring Hugh Grant as Thorpe, was broadcast. Last night, the South Wales force insisted the matter remains closed and it will not interview Newton. Gwent Police said its year-long inquiry focused narrowly on whether police acted corruptly to conceal Thorpe's role in the scandal. A spokesman added, having confirmed his status and whereabouts, officers from Gwent Police spoke to Mr. Redwin, who is unable to provide any additional evidence to that which has already been obtained in the original inquiry. As Mr. Redwin's evidence has already been considered by the CPS prior to this matter being closed, Gwent Police is satisfied there is no basis to re-refer the matter to the CPS and the investigation remains closed. We would like to clarify that at no point has it reopened the original Jeremy Thorpe investigation. The police are understood to have based their assessment that Newton was dead on data compiled by a private anti-fraud company. The firm has amassed details of more than 10 million deaths that it makes available to public agencies, police and private subscribers. According to its records, Newton, under his new name Han Redwin, was registered as dead on May 8, 2004. However, no death certificate was ever filed. If police had Googled his name, they would have discovered evidence of him flying at Red Hill Aerodrome and posing for photos during a London fetish convention. Speaking at his £1.3 million medieval farmhouse on the edge of Dartmoor, Mr. Scott said the matter is in the hands of his lawyers. Asked whether he would complain to the independent police watchdog, he replied, I am well aware of what I need to do. He has told friends he is convinced there was a conspiracy to murder and he must see it through to ensure the truth comes out. At Redwin's home near Dorking, his 61-year-old partner Patricia Frankham made light of the extraordinary developments. She said, "Mr. Redwin does not live here. I live here on my own and he remains a good friend. He's probably the other side of Paris by now." She apologized to police whose knock on her door on Sunday went unanswered, saying, "I was out." She added, "This story is 40 years old, it didn't happen last night. I actually fell asleep through that program, it was so boring. This is a TV program that's just gone stupid. My life is usually much more quiet, but I'm willing to sell my life story for £500,000. Police face serious questions about their investigation into Andrew Newton's death after it emerged his new name and where he lived was common knowledge even 10 years ago. Newton began using the alias Hand Redwin shortly before detectives said the former airline pilot died 14 years ago. But a simple Google search by police would have revealed he was calling himself Redwin, including during a fetish convention where he was photographed in a rubber jockstrap. He also called the BBC for help on spring cleaning at home. Critics on social media have pointed out how easy he was to find after police said he passed away. One said, "How did police not know alleged hitman Andrew Newton in the Norman Scott and Jeremy Thorpe scandal was still alive?" He then tweeted an image of a blog post from 2008 saying that he was alive and living under an assumed name. Petty criminal Dennis Megan, now 71, said in 2014 he was offered £13,500 by Mr. Newton and a representative of Thorpe to silence his lover Norman Scott in 1975. Newton, he claimed, did it instead when Megan pulled out at the last minute, but only managed to shoot Mr. Scott's dog Rinka. Prosecutors abandoned the case in 2016 as a trial could not be brought because Gwent Police said to the CPS that Newton was dead. But he was living under his new name in Chiswick all along. He is now believed to live in Surrey but has vanished after his cover was blown. Today BBC DJ Jeremy Vine even revealed that Redwin had called his show around the time he was meant to have died. The called, who said he lived in Chiswick, responded to a feature his long-running Radio 2 show was running. Thorpe's alleged hitman had asked, "How do you clean the mold off an acrylic shower screen?" Mr. Vine said he couldn't remember any more about it but hoped he got the answer he wanted. The revelation throws open the extraordinary affair which rocked the nation in 1975 with detectives probing whether Mr. Newton plotted murder.